We are running out of runway on the 2021 USL League One season, and we get the weekend started with Toronto FC hosting New England Revolution in a battle between MLS affiliates playing for both playoff position and bragging rights. Joe Malfa here with you on ESPN Plus on a cold, wet day at BMO Training Ground. It's do or die time for Toronto, and New England would love to bury one of the few teams still within striking distance as we take a look at the USL League One standings. New England finds themselves in fourth place on the heels of 3 straight wins. They've taken 9 points out of 9. They're within striking distance of not only a home playoff game, but a bye in the playoffs as well. Toronto in 9th. They're going to need more than just a win today to get above that playoff line, but all they can do is control what's at hand, and it starts with 3 points today, where they feel they are more than capable of picking up points any chance they get at home. They've been terrific at home this season, 2-0-3 at BMO Training Ground. Last week, a big 3-0 win at home against North Carolina got the confidence going back in the right direction, and it all stemmed from the play of the outside backs. Luca Petrasso, Kobe Franklin, they put in the extra work in practice last week, spent an extra half hour to an hour just doing things they weren't asked to do, and it translated to the game. They were better for it. They won 3-0, and it helps them on their way into this one against an equally hot, actually an even more hot New England team right now. 3 straight wins coming after that 4-1 loss against North Carolina. Clint P.A. called that a wake-up call. Early in the season, they had the talent, they didn't have the experience. After that North Carolina loss, started to blend the experience and the talent, and it has turned them into a juggernaut. They've outscored teams 5-1 in the last 3 games. Again, all wins as they continue their climb up the table. He's really excited to see where this team can go now in the last couple of weeks. And so are we all as we're coming into the final few weeks of the USL League One season. Stakes high in every single game. No different here. Toronto FC 2 against New England Revolution 2 coming up next. Players, officials making their way out onto the field here at BMO Training Ground. 3rd meeting of the season between Toronto and New England. Each of the first 2 finished with the same scoreline, a pair of 1-0 home wins for New England Revolution 2. Both of those games, going back and looking at them, you can make the case certainly that Toronto was the better of the 2 sides for almost the duration of each of those games in terms of the chances they created and what they were able to do offensively. In one of those games, a penalty was stopped against Toronto. Joe Rice, you see him a lot in this highlight package here for good reason. It's because Toronto kept New England under heavy fire, and he came up big time and again. He had to make 4 saves in the first game, another couple in the next game, and they weren't easy saves either. They were very difficult saves that he had to make, it again this one on the penalty. That helped him along, in his case, a couple of times for goalkeeper of the week. Take a look at the starting lineups for both squads, starting with Mike Munoz, Toronto FC squad. Not much different from what they put out there last week in that 3-0 win over North Carolina. A switch in goal and a switch on the back line with a healthy Kevin Paulitz back into the lineup today for Toronto. All smiles. We are running out of runway at the moment because he is right now in a situation where his team is within striking distance of that playoff line. Clint P.A. all smiles as well. You're on a 3-game winning streak. Those two guys get to see these teams as well grow. They're young. They have bright futures ahead of them. They get some bragging rights on the line today against another MLS affiliate. And we're just about ready to kick off here at BMO Training Ground. Here we go. You can see the wind already factoring in. Going for goal on Joe Rice's end. Slick turf as well from the rain we've had throughout the day. Lineup for New England. They go with a 3-5-2. Across the back, Pierre Caillet, Colin Verfurth, Colby Quinones. The two wingbacks will be Ryan Spaulding on the left, Tyler Freitas on the right. Jake Rosansky, the man in the middle, with plenty of attacking options ahead of him. Damian Tico Rivera, Noel Buck, Esmir Bayraktarovic, and Justin Rennicks. A pair of 16-year-olds there for New England with Noel Buck and Esmir Bayraktarovic. It's a really good young crop for the Revs. 10-9-4 New England in fourth, 7-9-8 Toronto below that playoff line. They can't get above it regardless of what happens this weekend. They're 4 points back of that line. But they're in a position where they need to win all the games they have right now in front of them to have a secure chance at making the postseason. Quinones swings it in. It's loose in the box. Chance here early for New England. Some communication issues at the back for Toronto as they're trying to deal with it. Here's Spaulding. Another ball in towards the back post. Maple skims it along. And Goulburn just gets it out to kind of catch their breath for a moment. Altabelli up for Rothrock, who got his first goal of the season last week. Taken by Rivera. Here's Buck. Rosansky missed some time due to injury. They're very happy to have him back starting in the middle. The metronome for New England sets the tempo, keeps everybody calm. Everything flows through him. When anybody around him is in doubt, they just play it back to him, let him figure things out. Caillet to Freitas. Flipped over the top and nodded away again. Another poor touch, though, gives it right back to New England. Here's Buck from distance, and it's just wide. This New England team is playing with some confidence right now. 3 straight wins, outscoring teams 5-1 on the front foot early. And Toronto looks like they're a little bit stunned early on. Noel Buck, 5 goals on the season, making his 19th start today, 24th appearance overall. Academy player who very quickly became a permanent fixture in this lineup. Maples gives it away. Another giveaway in the defensive third from New England, from Toronto, and it's a foul brought all the way back for a free kick. I wasn't sure where our referee, Michael Venet, was going to call that foul. The contact continued for quite some time from Talon Maples. I think New England would like to argue that that free kick should be quite a bit closer than where it is. There's where the contact started. He earned a yellow card for it, but here it continues right there to the edge of the box. Early yellow to Maples. Rosansky curls it in front, and it's going to be whistled for a foul against Pierre Caillet. You can hear the wind whipping on the field. It's going to impact any ball that gets up in the air. That's not too different from what we see on a normal day here at BMO Training Ground, but particularly today with storms rolling through and the rain we've seen. Verfurth out for Quinones. He locked down a starting role last year. Quinones hasn't cracked the lineup in the same way this year, making just his 9th start. Used primarily as a sub, but the utmost confidence Clint PA has in him on that back line, as he does for the entire back line. Had a chance to ask him about it this week. Throughout the injuries they've dealt with, throughout the international duty they've dealt with, whoever's been back there has stepped right in and filled the gaps. Here's Quinones again into the hands of Vikla. The default for New England is usually 4 at the back, but they're just as comfortable on some days like today going with 3 center backs and 2 wing backs. Clint PA just went up and down the list of the guys they have back there, and everyone has just come up big all season long, whether it's been O'Hearn or Kaye filling in for some combination of Doolise and Verfurth with international duties and call-ups to the MLS team. Everybody has played their part and done really well. Another foul goes against Toronto. Rennick slow to get up. Toronto maybe relishing this for a moment. Just a chance to catch their breath here as Rennick is healthy and jogs back into the play. Frantic first 5 minutes with giveaways at the back for a young Red side that is in need of wins every game here on out. At least that's the way Mike Munoz sees it. Starting to do that math, looking at the standings, seeing who plays who and when and where a team might pick up certain points. They feel that 10 might get them in. 10 would cut it close. They would need some help as they currently sit on 29 points coming into the day. 12 he thinks would do it, but there's 4 games on the schedule. Do the math. That means he thinks they need to win all 4 games to lock down a playoff spot. It's not going to be easy. At the very least, he sees 9 points, Mike Munoz, that they have to take all home games. 3 of their last 4 at home as Rennick commits the foul. Take those 9 and see what happens from there. You go on the road against Chattanooga in the middle of those home games. Again, 10 he thinks should get them in, but not a guarantee. 12 would get the job done. Spalding. Back for Rice. Now some high pressure from Toronto. First time they've forced New England into their own defensive third for more than just a few seconds, and they almost turn it into something here. Take it away. Carlini. Petrasso. Back for Carlini. Overlap from Petrasso. Here's Campbell, who has fully earned that captain's armband. It belonged to Politz for much of the season. It's nothing to do with Politz and everything to do with Campbell, who has just emerged as the true heartbeat of this Toronto team. Foul is committed by Altobelli. Mike Munoz could not say enough about the development of a guy like Dante Campbell as a leader. He solidified his place in the team, and he had to. From a growth standpoint, Mike Munoz felt that Dante Campbell was at a fork in the road of his career with Toronto FC. Upper management had those talks as well, that this could be it, the end of the line at Toronto FC before it's time to go elsewhere for that next step in his career for Dante Campbell. Coach Munoz gives him a lot of credit. He realized that he was at that fork in the road, and he answered the bell. He has really stepped up in a big way, earned a starting job middle of the summer, has not relinquished it since, and again has earned the captain's armband to go along with it. Buck. All the way back again for Rice. Right there is Goulburn. Rice was unsure of himself for a second, and now they play out of the back. Quinones. Both coaches ahead of this one felt possession would be key. One of the key battles in this game is the wingbacks for both teams. If you could pin the other team's wingers back and force them to be true defenders, it helps you twofold. It means you're obviously A, on the front foot, but B, they can't use some of their most dangerous pieces. Franklin and Petrasso on the outsides for Toronto lead the charge on the attack. Same goes for Spalding and Freitas and Quinones as the three players who you'll see on the wings for New England. And the key to winning the battle of the wingers is winning the possession battle. Right now, New England sitting on the ball here looking for Rennicks. Some contact in the box, still loose. Now Spalding to the end line around the corner and out for a goal kick. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of USL League One and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. And that Select ball will be skipping on the turf today. Sometimes it does take funky bounces on this surface regardless of the weather, but an increase in the wind and a wet surface as well because of the rain. Campbell, a glance over the shoulder. Now closed down by Buck. Over the top, into the path of Carlini. Long run to keep it in. He'll get there, but he won't feed it along for Goulburn. Petrasso right in front of Clint P.A. Little pocket of space there for Goulburn. Shoved off the ball by Quinones. Carlini cleans it up. Altabelli. Franklin finds Thompson. To the end line. Past Spalding. Cuts it back. Rothrock there. He goes down. Waved off. Goal kick for New England. And Joe Rice signaling that he wanted a yellow card for simulation as well on that potential dive from Rothrock. Let's take a look. Joe Rice has a case. Rothrock broke through with his first goal of the season last game, as did Luca Petrasso, as did Talon Maples. And Mike Munoz felt that seeing three different guys get their first goal of the season could be a spark for a number of other guys who have been close, pressing, had opportunities, but not yet found that opening goal on the year. Nobody has made more deposits in the bank than Garrett McLaughlin with 8 goals this season, but he hasn't really found his form since late spring. He's on the bench today. Physical game early on between these teams. There was no bad blood spilling over or anything when they met those 2 times in July. However, stakes a lot higher now, and intensity is going to ramp up just a bit. Once again, those were a pair of 1-0 wins for New England, both times scoring in the second half. 21 shots, 12 on target for New England in the first of those meetings. Tico Rivera found the goal. Toronto, plenty of opportunities in that one as well. 12 shots, 4 on target, a number of other near chances where they had crosses that were fed into the back post and just out of a player's reach, things of that nature that don't show up in the stat sheet, but would be considered scoring chances when you go back and review it. Flag goes up here on Rothrock. And to the point that both coaches made about controlling the possession here, being a real barometer of who might go ahead and win because of what that possession does in terms of the wing-back play. New England won the possession battle both times, 56-44 the first time around, 53-47 that second time around. Try not to get bogged down in possessions because you never know where that possession is. Is it defensive in your own third, passing around the back? But when it's a true indicator, sometimes you do have to rely on it. And when both coaches talk about it the way they did in our chats this week, and you go back and look at those first two games and see how it correlated to the outcome, possession will be a big factor today. And so far, heavily in New England's favor at 68-32, as Campbell takes that nasty challenge from Spalding. Quarter hour gone. Joe Malfa here with you at BMO Training Ground. Toronto and New England, pair of MLS affiliates going at it. 9th place Toronto could move within 1 point of that playoff line with a win today. And New England, a team that has been up and down throughout the year. There's never really been a big run one way or the other. They'd lose 1 or 2, they'd win 1 or 2. They'd draw 1 or 2. It's all back and forth. They finally got a streak of 3 of something, and it happens to be 3 wins. And they're in great form right now in 3rd place in the live table. If they come away with a win, they would be 3 points back of Chattanooga on the same number of games played. Not out of the question for New England to maybe somehow steal a bye from a Chattanooga team that all season long seemed to be a lock to be off that first weekend of the postseason. They've lost 3 of their last 4. Carlini pressuring Rosansky. Petrasso steps and wins it. Rothrock turns in space. Rothrock touched it a little bit too far ahead of himself. Wanted a foul call, doesn't get it. Renix leaves Politz on the ground. Campbell, look at that run, the hustle from that midfielder. That's the heart he shows. That run came from near the midway line. We saw Renix run away from the pack to score that goal against Chattanooga in that 1-0 win a couple weeks ago. He would have liked his chances there to all of a sudden being on goal after leaving Politz behind. But credit to Campbell. Buck fed through to Renix, cleared away by Carlini. Nice move by Thompson. Good recovery from Spalding. And now a corner for Toronto. This is something that Petrasso and Franklin work on so much. And it's Petrasso jogging out there to take this one. Thompson does well to split 2 of those defenders there. Wind at Petrasso's back. Taken quickly for Franklin. Franklin swings it in. And it's out for a goal kick. Mike Munoz noted that Thursday of last week, the day before the game against North Carolina, they sent Petrasso and Franklin alone to the turf field to hit 15 or 20 balls from corner kicks and free kicks each. They're the set piece takers. This team relies on those crosses on those set pieces as Quinones goes down here. And they not only did what they were asked, they started doing other drills, playing other attacking combos that they were not told to do by Munoz. They took it upon themselves. As the coaching staff was walking over from another field, then they were surprised to see Petrasso and Franklin still out there. But there they were, and it matriculated in into the next day's game. 2 assists for Franklin, a goal for Petrasso. There is Mike Munoz. So proud of the way his team collectively has grown all season long. With all the travel and nomadic behavior of the first couple of months, going from Arizona to Orlando back home. Takes a toll on any professional, but especially players as young as these guys in their late teens, early 20s, most of them. All you could ask for, he said, is a chance late in the season. And they have that here if they win their home games. They have 3 of the last 4 now on this field. Vikla nearly exited the box on that one. Had to be careful. Toes on the line. Still just 1 shot belonging to New England. Verfurth picks out a seam and finds Buck. Rivera there with Buck. Outside to Spalding. Rivera checks inside. Here's Rivera on the shot, saved by Vikla. And it's out for New England corner. Rosansky will take. Swung in towards that back post. Verfurth had an open header. I don't think he thought it was going to get there with the defenders in front of him. He ducked his head so early, it caught the back of his head. Another good delivery from Rosansky. Leads the team with 6 assists on the season. That's for a player who's missed more than a handful of games. Petrasso, great vision, great ball. Here's Rothrock in alone, and it's just wide. How quickly Toronto turned that into a promising attack from nearly nothing. What a ball from Petrasso. Rothrock maybe touched it a yard too wide on that left foot. Cut down his own angle. Rivera switches the field, but put that ball up in the wind, and you never know what's going to happen. It's over. Bayraktarovic and out for a throw. 22 minutes in, haven't seen Bayraktarovic find the ball too much. Clint PA very happy with the way the 16-year-old has progressed in a very short period of time. Debuted on August 21st, scored his first goal on September 11th. Bayraktarovic now has made 7 appearances, 3 starts. That one over the head of Rice, and he just sees it out. Really unhappy with himself the way that one turned out. The attacks have been quick in transition from Toronto, and another corner now. They went short last time. It didn't work out too well. See if Petrasso swings it in himself this time. He does. Towards the back post, and it's in! Perfect delivery! And Toronto scores! It's Paulitz back from injury and back on the score sheet. This game has been controlled by New England. The last couple minutes, you saw Toronto finding their footing. And once again, from a set piece, on a delivery from either Franklin or Petrasso, this time being Petrasso, it yields a goal for Toronto. First of the season for Paulitz. Mike Munoz mentioned that seeing 3 players pick up their first of the season last week could be contagious. So far, there it is, first of the season for Politz. Trasso wins it. Leaves it for Altobelli. Now out to Thompson. This season, New England 1-7-1 when conceding first. And they haven't conceded against Toronto until now with those pair of 1-0 wins. Toronto on the flip side, 6-0-3 when scoring first. Thompson, shouts of handball from Toronto. Campbell battling Renix. Spalding. Goal seemed to take the wind out of the sails of New England, struggling to kind of find their footing after that goal now. Once again, it's back to Toronto. Franklin. Here's Rothrock. Run coming down the left side from Goulburn. Ball into the hands of Rice. Rosansky. Can't give that player time and space. 6 assists. He's in that race for most assists on the season. The control has been in New England's favor early on. Over 65% of the possession. Quinones pings it in. Buck lays it off. Bayraktarovic. 4 shots apiece so far. 2 on target for Toronto. And 1 got by Joe Rice. And each of those shots for Toronto came in the flurry of the last few minutes. At the 20-minute mark, they had yet to record a shot. No telling where that one was going to land after Vikla put it directly up into the wind. Saw how long it hung up there. Maples trying to find it. Fortunately, for Toronto, didn't take that weird of a bounce when it landed, and they draw the foul. Quinones battles Goulburn. Toronto throw. With sights set on home field advantage, El Paso Locomotive welcomes and OKC Energy side looking to remain above the playoff line. It's El Paso and OKC, Sunday, October 24th at 8 Eastern on ESPN Deportes. Campbell slides it through for Rothrock. A chance for Toronto is thwarted by the flag. Second time now, though, that Rothrock has gotten alone and open in the box. Could not have been offside by too much there. Body language of the players always gives you a good indication of which way a call might go. Nobody on either side seemed to be slowing down there, as if the flag might have popped up. And now an offside flag against New England. Half an hour gone at BMO Training Ground. The goal scored in the 24th minute by Kevin Paulitz has Toronto up 1-0. And it would have Toronto within a point of the playoff line. Tucson is in 6th on 33 points through 24 games. Same amount of points and the same amount of games for North Texas in 7th. And then there would be Toronto with 32 right behind them. Both North Texas and Tucson would have a game in hand on Toronto to try and create some more separation than just that 1 point. It is going to be a very wild last couple of weeks of this season. The stage has been set all year long, as when there have been times that it seemed like a team or two might start to pull away, all of a sudden they lose a game or two in a row, and a team like Tucson goes on a lengthy unbeaten run. A team like Richmond and New England currently on a pair of 3-game win streaks. Greenville, after going nearly 2.5 months between wins, they've been on a tear lately. But just when you think a team might be out, they get pulled back in and continue on. To the end line for Goulburn. Here's Petrasso with an assist today. Goulburn. Rothrock. Back for Petrasso. End line for Rothrock. Can they get a cross in is the question. New England keeping them on the outside. Dante Campbell wins it from Tico Rivera. Names that I haven't had to call a ton so far. Rivera, Buck, Bayraktarovic. New England needs to get those 3 going if they're going to get back into this game. Great tackle by Campbell. Michael Venn didn't think so. Franklin will get it back into play. He deserved a 3rd assist last week. Won't get credit for it. Foul here against Kaye. That 3rd one from Franklin was a great delivery off the corner. Talon Maples headed it off the post, and then from the post, it was an easy tap in into an open net for Paul Rothrock. Petrasso wanted to go quickly on the throw. Now bides his time, waits for someone to get open. And we'll pause for a moment. A lot of shoving going on off the ball as they jockey for position from that throw in. Verfurth and Rothrock. A word with the official. Colburn picked up where Petrasso left off, looking for an option. Campbell. Franklin. And now Thompson. In the middle has Carlini. Poor first touch, but he gathered himself enough to get a shot off. Not the best of looks. Rice makes the save. Mike Munoz talked about where the mentality is right now among the players, the staff, upper management. The coaching staff constantly texting about the standings and other games that are going on, taking each other through possible scenarios and who to root for. Players into it as well. They're starting to discuss it on the training ground, knowing who's playing when and at what time. And again, same thing with the scenario is. But the best thing that Mike Munoz said has been happening of late, upper management taking notice. The club president has been in and around the team locker room, proud of what they've done so far. Spaulding to the end line, and it's out for a corner. In a year where the MLS team has struggled for Toronto FC, they can brighten the mood. This Toronto FC 2 squad by making the playoffs for what will be the first time in club history, going back to when they were in a USL Championship as well, have never made the postseason. That was a goal for this group. It's within striking distance. It's not going to be easy, but they feel there's something special in the cards, especially with 3 of the last 4 at home beginning today. Rosansky, another good delivery on the corner, forces Vikla to make an unsteady punch away. Buck. Back for Verfurth. Now Spaulding. He's got 3 goals on the season, sends this one in towards the back post. Back for Quinones. Unusual look here from Toronto. A team that is typically going to control possession in all the games they're in. At worst, it's near a 50-50 split whenever they're out there. Perhaps it's the early goal, but sitting back, letting New England have it here. 63% of the ball has belonged to New England. One of the issues for Toronto in playing these home games, as this one is played back and out for a corner kick, that they haven't been able to score early, and it has allowed teams to pack it in tight against them defensively. They struggle to break down a low block, but getting this goal here against New England should open up the Revs. Only problem is Toronto hasn't seen enough of the ball to do anything to exploit a more open New England team. Noel Buck will have to drive this one right through the wind. Got good pace on it. Back post, the whistle blows to nullify what New England thought was a goal. Players on the Revs looking around, unsure what the call was. Don't really know that I saw one either there. Campbell out wide for Franklin. He drives the ball in. Rice makes the grab. Out of that last exchange, Tyler Freitas did pick up a yellow card. We'll show it to you in a moment. See if we can decipher why New England was disallowed the goal there. Even more questions than answers. New England perhaps very unlucky not to be level 1-1 right now. Bogdanovich dropping a little deeper now to try to find the game. Ball hasn't been fed his way. Freitas picked up a yellow for dissent in response to that call there. And again, looking at it on replay, it didn't seem like there was anything out of the ordinary from New England. They were unhappy in the moment, and they'll be a lot less happy, if that's possible, when they go back and watch this one afterwards. Certainly should be 1-1 here 40 minutes in. Carlini forced all the way back to Vaikla. Goalkeeper rotation all season long has kept it such that Vaikla and Caleb Patterson-Sewell have each had 10 starts so far. Now Vaikla gets his 11th today. Numbers are almost identical as well. 40 saves for Patterson-Sewell, 36 for Vaikla. Goals against, 11 for Patterson-Sewell, 13 for Vaikla. Pretty similar from both goalkeepers. Patterson-Sewell also acting as the goalkeeping coach, the veteran. Has a really strong relationship with Vaikla, who he's taken under his wing throughout the season. Toronto didn't have a shot in the first 20 minutes. They had a flurry then of 4 in the next 10, and that yielded the goal. Since then, they've gone quiet again as New England has rediscovered the tempo and control of this game. Only stat that matters, though, is that one right there. Paul to the 24th. Player down back behind the plate. Renix just gathering himself, retying the shoe as the other players use this as a chance to get some hydration before the half. Clint P.A. talked a lot about Justin Renix this week. Early in the season, felt he was settling for a lot of low percentage shots from a distance rather than utilizing the players around him to find a better way in and get into the more dangerous positions. They spent some time on that specifically. He responded very well. And not just Renix, the rest of the attacking pieces as well. There was a slant towards sometimes just settling for that distance shot and going for that magic moment rather than finding the easier way in. It's been a lot better of late, and he still thinks, Clint P.A., that there's a higher gear to kick into in this stretch run. Kaye. Rosansky. Quinones. Toronto shifting very well as a unit, not allowing New England any easy creases through which they can attack. Kaye goes with the Route 1 ball over the top, but nobody there on the backside for the Revs. Based on the keys that Mike Munoz laid out for us, this first half, in terms of that aspect, has not gone the way he had hoped it would, but all that matters is they found that goal on the corner kick. He wanted to dominate the possession, felt that would be the key in this one. Wanted to make sure that it was his wingers forcing the New England wingers back on their heels. So far, though, Quinones and Spalding for New England have forced the issue on the wings, and the Revs have controlled 63% of the possession. It's going Toronto's way on the scoreboard, though. Dante Campbell having a chat with the fourth official. Felt that Quinones maybe threw a stomp in there at the end with Goulburn down. One minute of added time here in the first half. The last couple of minutes have made it seem like both teams are just longing for the locker room now to make some tweaks, get back out there for half number 2. It was in the second half that Toronto opened it up to a 3-0 win last week. Renix, one last run, pressuring Politz. Maples goes forward with it just to get it out of harm's way. There's a whistle to end half number 1. New England controlled much of it, but on the scoreboard, it's 1 for Toronto and 0 for the visiting New England side. That goal came from Politz in the 24th minute, his first of the season. And Toronto's in a really good spot right now if they can hold on and take 3 points. They need 12 is what they feel. That's their target number in these last 4 games. Lofty goals, but the goals they might need to set if they want to get into the playoffs. They're 45 through the first set of 3 they can earn. Back in a moment. Not the best day in Toronto, but can't complain whether it was Arizona, Orlando, or now north of the border. The weather has been near perfect all season long for this Toronto club at home. But you know what? Not to get your spirits as damp as the weather, we've got some highlights for you from the Wednesday action. Richmond, Madison, whenever these teams meet, and it is always a tight, fun game. Action started early. Matt Bolduc with the chance, a sign of things to come in the first few minutes as they were knocking on the door, and they would enter the door in the 8th minute. 15 times this season, Emiliano Terzaghi has found the back of the net. He is leading the Golden Boot race now with a nice cushion over Marius Lomas. Last month and a half, he is the only player in that race that has been scoring, and he seems to be on his way to a second consecutive Golden Boot. On the Madison side, no shots on target in this one. A lot of half chances like this. Gebhard, the volley off the chest. Not much work for Akira Fitzgerald in net. He is among the league leaders in saves, but get a nice night off here while you're still on the field. No saves to be made. Phil Barino had to come up with a big one here on Bolaños to keep it 1-0 and keep some glimmer of hope alive for Madison. Unfortunately, though, for the Mingos, they would not capitalize on his performance in goal. Last chance, Josiah Trimmingham, similar to Gebhard a moment ago, just put it off frame. This Richmond team, 3 straight 1-0 wins, 270 minutes without conceding a goal, 3 1-0 wins in a row with all the goals from Terzaghi. This team is a hot team right now in a tight playoff race. You pick up 9 points out of 9, and you're in a good spot. Right now, they sit in 5th entering the weekend. And right now, everybody is chasing Omaha, and I don't think anybody's going to catch them. Looked early on as if Fort Lauderdale might give them a tough go of it here. 24th minute, they get the goal early on. And Sean Hundel on the assist from Mitch Curry. This team had won all their games, 7, when they score first. And this Omaha team had yet to come from behind and win a game. That changed in a big way in this game. So has the whole perception around this team of being incapable of scoring goals at a high rate. They have 8 goals in their last 2 games. Now they lead the league with 37. You got 4 from Conway, 2 from Hurst, 4 assists for Boyce. Everything right now is going Omaha's way. Just dominant all around. Boyce here finds Hurst and blasts this one into the roof of the net. Omaha, there's a lot of math to do, a lot of math that I have to actually sit down and focus on. Otherwise, it is going to be a train wreck. But they could possibly clinch a playoff spot and a bye, depending on how some results go this weekend. And if everything flows through Werner Park, watch out. These Owls are on a run to a championship that they felt they deserved last year before the final, unfortunately, could not take place. They might be on their way again. And actually, that's their next game tomorrow night against Greenville for that big green belt. Greg Hurst punctuates this one with another goal of his own. Comes up with the brace, and he had an assist in this game as well. A 4-1 win for Omaha, well clear of the pack now atop the table as Chattanooga has had a recent dip in form. And we're back to our game in Toronto in just a moment.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Hey, y'all. Can we change up the chores?
Sorry. It's up to the wheel, man.
Oh, yeah?
Hey! Change the channel back!
Sorry, it's up to the wheel!
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Around it comes Fox. Solignat, the backheel in! What a goal!
Luna is shot into the back goal.
Kuramoto has won it for OKC Energy FC. Oh, that is a brilliant goal from the substitute.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer. You step up.
Get the mint juleps ready. Lexington joins USL League One in 2023. Big announcement from the league this week as this league continues to grow, expand, improve. Such a bright future ahead in Lexington, the next piece of the puzzle. And right now, FC Tucson feels they have their puzzle solved as well. Interim no more. John Perlman is now the official head coach for the 2022 season with the turnaround that he has put forth out in the desert. And your player of the week is Evan Conway, leading an Omaha attack that has just been lights out. 8 goals last 2 games. As we mentioned before in that highlight segment, everything going well for them right now. And you can see that by seeing multiple Owls right there in the team of the week joining him. Now we take a look at the goals leaders. Emiliano Terzaghi, 15 goals. He was on the heels of Marius Lomas for a while, and now he is distancing himself from the pack. Greg Hurst, a couple goals to his name the last couple of games. He's staying in the hunt. This is Terzaghi's race to lose with just a few games to go, and right now he's running away with the all-time goals mark as well. 25, passing Ronaldo Damas, who is now in USL Championship scoring goals for Orange County, but those goals don't count towards his League One total, so he is in the dust behind Terzaghi. Micheletto still there with 21. Still plenty of time left in the season for that to change. Same thing goes here for the assist leaders. George Acosta, poor guy. He had the hockey assist on the goal for Fort Lauderdale. Doesn't help him out. He's still 1 behind Ricky Ruiz. Evan Boyce continues with 4 assists in the last 2 games all of a sudden in the race. Keep an eye on the goals, though. Charlie Dennis with 7 would have the tiebreaker. And then the goals against leaders. Rashid Nuhu, he had the night off last game. He still continues to lead the way. Tim Trolk closing in. Don't know if he'll catch him. Shout out to Joe Rice as well, coming into the day at 0.867. We've got 3 goalkeepers under a 1.00 goals against. Very, very impressive showing. And you take a look at the scoreboard from this past week. Anybody but Fort Lauderdale had a pretty decent day in terms of their goalkeeping as well, especially Richmond. Akira Fitzgerald right now, 3 straight 1-0 wins for the Kickers as they work their way into 5th place at the moment. North Carolina could be eliminated. Chattanooga trying to stay in the hunt right now for the 1 seed. Union Omaha running away with it. They're 4 points up on Chattanooga with the game in hand. This is your next game. It leads off a Saturday doubleheader here in League One. Chattanooga has lost 3 of their last 4 games. They've only lost 4 on the season. That 1 loss came to Tormenta way earlier in the year, but now 3 of their last 4. They have to get back on track, and they look to do so against last place North Carolina. Here's a look at the rest of the Week 27 schedule. Omaha Greenville, that is a big one on Saturday night. Rematch, can't really call it a rematch if the championship game never happened, but the game that was supposed to happen to decide the championship last year, and it's for the Big Green Belt this time around, and a doubleheader on Sunday as well. But back to Toronto in a moment. It turned out to be a pretty nice day in the end here in Toronto as the day has gone along. Started off rainy, cold, wet. Sun has peaked out over the last few minutes, especially in that first half. Joe Malfa here with you. We take a look at the first half highlights between Toronto and New England. Not too much danger overall for either side. A very measured game played in the midfield, both of these teams. Early on, New England had opportunities they could have cashed in on. They're going to be kicking themselves for not doing so. Toronto came out looking shell-shocked, but they weren't ready for this game. A handful of turnovers in the first 5 minutes kept New England in the attacking third. Things changed in a hurry. Luca Petrasso, such an instrumental component of this attack. Look at this vision here. And the weight on the pass through to Rothrock. That touch from Rothrock took him a little bit too wide. Cut off his own angle. He put it wide. But then in the 24th minute, another perfect delivery from the corner, whether it's Petrasso on the far side with the in-swinger or Franklin on the near side with his right-footed in-swinger. Deliveries are just on the money, and Paulitz makes it count. We thought it'd be 1-1 here. Didn't seem to see a foul anywhere. Foul got called. If anything, it looked like Kaye was being held there. His jersey almost torn. He felt the same way. Diving header in, it doesn't count, and it stays 1-0 at the break between Toronto and New England. Shots there 5-4, 3 on target to 1, but New England has 63% of that possession. Are they maybe falling into the trap of what we saw earlier in the season at times, though, where Clint P.A. noted sometimes he felt like his guys wanted to make too many passes before they got a goal rather than just going ahead and taking the chances when they were there. It's a problem that plagued them early in the year when they had a loss on the road against Fort Lauderdale. They seem to have come out of it in a big way since then, especially the last 3 games. But we'll see what the second half has in store. Sometimes you can fall back to those old tendencies, and New England maybe a little bit gun-shy at times in that first half. Plenty of attacking firepower for a team that's in great form, though, and still 45 minutes to turn things back the other way. From right to left in all white, New England. From left to right in all red, Toronto. Half number 2 underway with the Young Reds up 1-0. Both of these teams, with the personnel and with the way they've played all season long, are able to change their shape at a moment's notice if they feel like they can gain a tactical advantage. Curious to see if New England sticks with the 3-5-2. Ball in from Rivera, nodded down to Renix. Renix just takes it himself. Whips it all the way across. A goal kick. New England still has options on the bench they can turn to in this one. O'Hearn, Dulis can help change the shape of the back if they wanted to push a Quinones or a Spalding further up the field. No MLS players in the lineup today for Toronto FC. Mike Munoz called that maybe a blessing in disguise, and doing so means no disrespect to all of the MLS players who have come and gone this year on the 2 side in League One. He said all the MLS guys who have joined the roster from time to time have embraced the challenges and the mindset and been true pros about it, knowing what this squad's goals are. But chemistry is such a big thing, and it's a tricky thing. Always tough to add someone to a tight-knit group. Always tough to take someone away from a tight-knit group and expect nothing to change. You do get those changes when you're maybe putting in 1 or 2 different starters at a given time who haven't been with the team the whole way, who haven't traveled from Arizona to Orlando, then back home to Toronto. All these guys out there, signed to the 2 side, they know what's at hand. The goals were set early in the year. They've formed really tight bonds. They love each other, and they know that they can pull off something special. Sure, those MLS players bring an infusion of talent, but a balance towing the line between the talent they bring and maybe what they do to impact the chemistry. And the one thing to emphasize again, no disrespect meant by that to those players by Coach Munoz. Just a fact of the matter that chemistry is a finicky thing. Renix with some speed. Feeds it out wide to Spalding. First touch fails him, but clips it towards that back post. A dangerous ball, and it's grabbed by Vikla. Not an easy one for the keeper to deal with, as it got caught up in the wind, had a funky spin on it, and Spalding didn't hit it cleanly. How many times do you see that one maybe just end up in the side netting through no one's fault? Both of these teams all season long have exhibited an ability to score in bunches in second halves, 20-18 in New England's favor. And both of these teams have just 11 first-half goals on the year. 31 for New England overall, 29 for Toronto overall. That was, of course, coming into the day. Throw in today's first half goal, and it's 12 first half goals for Toronto, but again, 18 in the second half, and that was a number boosted by last Friday when they scored 3 goals in 8 minutes, all by goal scorers notching their first goal to the season. Quinones. That one ricochets off the back of Petrasso. New England 0-7-1 this year when trailing at the half. We've already seen, though, in the past week, one change in statistics that deviates from the norm in that Omaha-Fort Lauderdale game. Fort Lauderdale's 7 wins all came when scoring first, and Omaha had yet to win a game from behind. That changed as it went from a 1-0 Fort Lauderdale lead to a 4-1 Omaha win. Today, 6 wins, 3 draws for Toronto when scoring first. 1-7-1 for New England when conceding first. Bayraktarovic commits the foul. Maybe some frustration from the 16-year-old. Having trouble finding the footing today. There's Bayraktarovic making up for it, winning the ball. Clint PA had a lot to say about Bayraktarovic and his very quick development. Just has a nose for the attack. Here's Renix up to Buck. Bayraktarovic just finds those pockets of space that yield goal-scoring opportunities. Good vision of the field, knows when to time the runs. A rapid ascent into this lineup for Bayraktarovic, debuting on August 21st, scoring his first goal on September 11th. Now making his 4th start, 8th appearance overall today in less than 2 months. Rivera, back for Spalding. Here's Bayraktarovic, flicks it on to Rosansky. Don't see that often from Rosansky, a giveaway like that. He was put into that space, though, again by the vision and creativity of Bayraktarovic with a little back heel. Goulburn. Out for Thompson. Overlap from Franklin. Had 2 assists last week. Not going to get to this ball. The USL's elite pre-professional platform, USL Academy, allows clubs to build a pathway to pro soccer by bringing together top local youth talent and helping players transition to their USL senior teams. For more info, visit usl-academy.com. Flag up on Renix. Had 4 goals in just 8 starts last season, Renix. This year, 3 in 22. Just hasn't fell for him the same way as it did last year. But 2 of those in the last couple of games. Clint P.A. looking on. He knows very well what may lie ahead of this team with the postseason looming. Here's Buck. Tripped up a little bit, keeps his feet. Freitas. And there it goes. The opportunity for New England just as quickly as it was building. Back to Clint P.A. Said that cliches are cliches because they're true. They're taking this one game at a time. They realize the table is tight, but they do see what is ahead of them here after that 3-game winning streak. They very well know they have an opportunity to go ahead and steal a bye. But you know that they can't get bogged down in that. If they just keep going the way they're going and rise to the occasion for individual games rather than looking at it as a whole the next couple of weeks, the table will take care of itself. They've done so 3 games in a row with 3 straight wins. In trouble though now. Kaye commits the foul. Thompson, Rothrock. Good challenge put in by Kaye. Back for Thompson. Driven ball towards the penalty mark. Never gets to Goulburn. Clint P.A. also acknowledged this might be the run that they're on right now that he felt they were ready to embark on last year. Their younger guys grew so much in the short span of last season, and looking back on it, noted that that really short period of time from July to late October felt like forever, but it really wasn't much. So surprised he was at how quickly they were able to grow that group. Felt they should have been or would have been in the playoffs last year if there was some more time and if it was a normal format like it is this year. Never had a chance to get on that run he felt they were poised to make. At the similar stage of the season this year, they started to turn it around. As those young players grew older and more experienced, he said they're no longer rookies. They're nearly second-year players now with a lot of games to look back on to help them out now and pair that experience with the talent. So this is the run he felt they could have and should have got on last year, if not for the season being cut short. Freitas. Now Kaye. Tried to thread the needle. Spalding gets a second chance at it. Inside to Rivera, but puts it wide of his teammate. Now it's Rivera. Inside, Renix loses his footing. Spalding. Bayraktarovic. Dangerous ball in. Vikla just slaps it. Fortunate that he had a teammate there in Carlini to clear it away. Quinones takes his space. Flicked on by Bayraktarovic. Now Campbell looking to break. Here's Petrasso. Rather Carlini on the left flank. Thompson hustles to keep it in. Pressure applied now from Rothrock. Over to Spalding. Toronto turning up the pressure here. Look at all the red jerseys in the attacking half, and Campbell wins it, draws the foul, and Noel Buck picks up a yellow card. Bit late there from Buck. Third player to pick up a yellow in this one. Talon Maples did so all the way back in the 3rd minute. Tyler Freitas did for dissent after that goal was disallowed for New England back in the 44th minute. Early in the season, a pair of young bucks for New England, Noel and Joe, were in the lineup regularly. Joe Buck has since moved on, as a couple of players have for New England, as they joined their college teams. Joe Buck has made 8 appearances so far with Georgetown, the #1 ranked team in the nation. Still undefeated. Up to Rothrock. Inching toward the hour mark here at BMO Training Ground. The goal from Kevin Paulitz, who nods this along now, back in the 24th minute. Still holding up for Toronto. Campbell gives it away. Altabelli for Thompson. Thompson cuts in, loses it. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Meola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watson, Devin Kerr every Tuesday night at 7 Eastern. You can also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Sun is out in full force now after this game began under cloud cover and with some rain. First pair of changes on the way from New England. Hikaru Fujiwara and Sean O'Hearn entering the match. Tyler Freitas and Jake Rosansky, the two to exit. This might turn things into more of an attacking formation for New England. Sean O'Hearn tucking in on the back line, sending either Quinones or Spalding further forward. And he'll also drop either Tico Rivera or Noel Buck into a more central midfield role. Hikaru Fujiwara settling atop them. But all three of those guys more attacking minded than Jake Rosansky, who exits. Join USL in celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month through October 15th. Visit uslsoccer.com/Hispanic-heritage for exclusive content and stories that celebrate members of the Hispanic community who have helped shape USL. Campbell, great ball into space. Here's Goulburn. Goulburn with the shot. It's rising and tipped over the bar by Rice. The attacks for Toronto have sprung from nowhere today at times. Quick transition from Campbell to Goulburn. Yet another corner kick. It's how they scored their only goal today. Joe Rice battling the Sun as well in there. Carlini checks as a short option, but with the goalkeeper covering his eyes like that, you might want to just hit it in there. Carlini. Back for Petrasso, now a chance to get a cross in from a better angle, right into the hands of Rice. Campbell again wins it in the middle. Having a whale of a game in there. Here he is on the attacking end. Not what he's known for. If there was a weak link to this team that Mike Munoz could specifically point to middle stages of the season, it was that the team had way too many natural wingers or attacking players and not enough natural central holding midfielding talent. Campbell stepped up. Rivera battles, as does Renix. Renix comes away with it. Has time and space. Renix clips one towards that far post. You wonder if a play like that is what Clint P.A. noted that at times Justin Renix can fall into, where he'll take those and settle for those shots from distance. You saw the look on the face of Hikaru Fujiwara. There were options to the left and to the right of Renix. Calls his own number instead on a low percentage shot. Hasn't been an issue as much of late. Clint P.A. felt there was another gear for Renix and this attack as a whole to kick their game into. Quick give and go between Thompson and Rothrock. Spalding cuts it off. Another corner. A goal kick. Back for Kaye. That pressure still being applied by Toronto. New England continues to control the possession, the tempo of this game. 65% of it. Haven't done much with it. 6 shots, 2 on target. Good ball in here. Renix didn't get it cleanly with the head. Spalding. Buck. Renix for Spalding. A shrug from Clint P.A. on the near sideline as the build continues, but just slow from New England. Not really finding an attacking power they had the last couple of games. But either something is going to change in terms of the history of the season so far for Toronto here, or we've got some goals in store, because no times this season has Toronto gone on to win, scoring just 1 goal. 3 losses, 4 draws when they end a game with a 1 in their goal column. On the the flip side of that, New England leads with 6 1-0 wins. They've been terrific in tight games. Toronto, not so much. I should say tight, low-scoring games. Four game-tying goals, as you saw there, for New England this season. But when they enter the last 15 minutes trailing, they've done so 9 times this year, 8 losses, 1 draw. Entering that stage of the game now where it starts to get a little tighter, and you maybe have to start opening up a little bit more in the 70th minute now. Their only game-tying goal from the 75th minute or later belonged to Edward Kizza back on August 14th against Richmond in the 87th minute. Kizza not available today for New England. A number of players signed to MLS contracts who have appeared with the MLS side this year, just given the couple of days off here during this international window in MLS. New England, one of the best teams in MLS this season. And those players have seen the field, gotten in, especially Kizza. Bruce Arena certainly like to have them fresh. O'Hearn, flag goes up. Fujiwara skims it along. Thompson walks a tightrope on the sideline, keeps it in for Franklin. Did it once, he'll try to do it again. Put it in the middle, but nobody there. Nothing too threatening still in the attack from New England. Methodical in the build, but just 2 shots on target all game. 1 in each half so far. A lot of credit needs to be given, though, to the Toronto back line. They held North Carolina without a shot on goal last Friday. Not only allowed 2 so far here against the New England team that has been much stronger offensively of late in these last 3 games. All 3 wins, outscoring opponents 5-1. And a team that has excelled scoring in the second halves of games. Of their 31 goals this season, remember 20 have come in the second half. Showed you that stat a bit earlier. O'Hearn. Quinones, now Buck. O'Hearn picks the head up, drives one in towards Renix, falls through to the back post for Spalding, puts it in front. Renix is there. It's stomped on and cleared by Paulitz. Toronto breaking out. Altobelli. Too much on that one with Goulburn streaking down the middle. But more of the same there from New England. Promising build, methodical build, doesn't yield a shot in the end. Bayraktarovic. Spalding. Kaye and Verfurth are both sitting back right now for New England. Everybody else committed forward. That's what the changes Clint P.A. made have done for this team tactically. It's allowed the likes of O'Hearn to get further forward. Quinones and Spalding all to join the attack more frequently, chasing this goal. Here's Spalding again. Now Rivera. Tico Rivera floats one towards the back post, curls too much so into the hands of Andreas Vaikla. Look at the upcoming schedule for Toronto. They only have to leave Canada once. It's their next game against Chattanooga on the road, a struggling Red Wolves side, before 2 at home against Fort Lauderdale and New England. Toronto has a unique opportunity here to put the pressure on some of the other teams in the league. Their last game of the year scheduled for the day before the last day of the season because of their time slot here playing at 4 p.m. on Fridays. So if they get enough points in these next couple of games, they can be sitting at home on Saturday with ESPN Plus on, where you can catch all USL League One action, hoping that results go their way and slide them into the postseason. Leaders in the clubhouse they could be for that 6 seed or 5 seed, depending on how things shake out. Quarter hour to go. Only one game tying goal in the last 15 minutes of the game this season for New England. That came mid-August. 0-8-1 when trailing in the last 15. Trying to flip the script today. Franklin powers through with it. Plays Rothrock into space. Garrett McLaughlin was getting ready on the sideline for Toronto. Here's Rothrock continuing his run. Great tackle put in by Kaye. Out for a corner. Just those two guys back there, Kaye, Verfurth, looking to turn aside any counterattack at this stage from Toronto. They've done a good job of it so far. Kosi Thompson exiting the match for Garrett McLaughlin. Player in Garrett McLaughlin, who started the season so positively, had a hat trick in the game on July 18th against North Carolina. Hasn't scored since then, nearly a full 3 months later. It'll be 3 months in 10 days since his last goal. Franklin drops it inside. Petrasso, good ball to Altobelli, end line. Last off of Altobelli, he keeps it in. Well done to react quickly. Otherwise, that would have been a goal kick. Rothrock. Out wide, good vision, finds Campbell. Sent in back towards Rothrock. That would have been a pretty goal. From Rothrock to Campbell, back to Rothrock. Back line of New England had other intentions as they turn it onto the attack. Rothrock really coming on of late this season. 3rd round pick this year, signed to get some minutes here with TFC2. Injuries here and there have cost him an ability to get into a rhythm this year, making now his 3rd start. Very creative player. Makes a lot of good quick runs in behind. Comes from a good pedigree collegiately. 2 years at Notre Dame, 2 years at Georgetown. Campbell with a big tackle from behind on Fujiwara, wagging his finger up the field, but he had the benefit of a second look. I think he'd agree with Michael Venet. We do have the benefit of a second look, and we'll show it to you there. Elbow right in between the shoulder blades of Fujiwara. Not much that could be done with that one on the far side by Quinones. Battling the sun as he tried to spot it. The wind kept carrying it towards the end line. Out for a goal kick with 10 to go here at BMO Training Ground. If this result holds, Toronto would be 1 point behind that playoff line. 6th place Tucson, 33 points. 7th place North Texas, 33 points. Both of those teams have played 24 games. In the live table, Toronto would have 32 points in 25 games. So Tucson and North Texas would each have a game in hand as this battle for the 6th seed gets tighter and tighter. It's turning into a battle for that 6th seed almost exclusively with the way Richmond has been playing of late with 3 straight wins in 5th place now. Contact edge of the area waved off immediately and confidently by the official. McLaughlin commits the foul. Another look at that last challenge. Good clean win of the ball by Noel Buck. Stephanie Yates getting set to check in for Toronto. Have to guess maybe Rothrock, one of the players who could be on the way out as he works up to 100% fitness post-injuries. Carlini hobbling after that challenge, working himself off on the far side. Carlini still hobbling. Saw him there directing Petrasso to pass it to somebody else. Altabelli reads it well and wins it. They don't have the numbers, but they have the pace here right now. Up to McLaughlin. Back for Altabelli. Toronto hasn't had much of the possession throughout the day. Nearly 70% of it in the second half belongs to New England. But remember, they're a possession-based team, and this is what they can turn to try and shield the game out over the finish line. Getting into their bread and butter here, spreading the field out, passing it around, killing the clock. Rothrock. This is it. As he tried to get it to Altabelli. Yates has been waiting there for quite a bit now. Ball just hasn't gone out. Carlini still jogging around in the middle. Was the one who seemed a bit hobbled. On the ball now, Carlini. Quinones. Still just one shot on target in this second half. 2 overall in the game for Toronto. But they'll have a chance here at a corner kick. Toronto opting not to sub here. Always tough to sub on a defensive set piece. They'll wait till the next stoppage. Toronto's goal came on a corner from that far side on that end of the field. Can Noel Buck replicate the service that came from Luca Petrasso? Can someone step up to beat New England's Kevin Paulitz? That one goes all the way through. Now that sub will enter for Toronto. Stephen Yates on the way in. It will be Carlini checking out. Again, saw him hobbling a couple of moments ago. Just never broke his way with the ball going out to get him off the field. Carlini gingerly walking over. Slight grimace on the face here as he comes to the sideline. Some fresh legs for Yates as Toronto is pressuring high. They have shown that high pressure, trying to find a goal on the counter. Again, they have not won a game this season in which they've only scored 1 goal. 3 losses, 4 draws, when 1 is their total. Joe Rice is going to pick up a yellow card for that. Worth it. They were trying to throw it in quickly. A smile on the face of Rothrock. He knows what the goalkeeper just did. It's probably one of the smartest yellow cards he's ever picked up. They were ready to take that throw quickly. With the goalkeeper that far removed from his goal. Just made sure he kicked it away so they couldn't take it. Here's another look at that from Joe Rice. Right there, you see the moment of realization in his face. He just kicked it away. Here's Buck. Campbell again, just a thorn in the side of the New England midfielders today. Quinones sends one in towards Vikla. Again, a secure grab for the keeper. The only shot on target in this second half for New England was that half-hearted chance from Rennicks from distance, where it seemed like a couple of his teammates to the left and to the right of him were open and seemed like they wanted the ball. Rivera through to Fujiwara. Another corner now for New England. Just their second corner of the half after having 3 in the first half. Fujiwara will remain out there to take it. Sent in, center of the box, falls through to the backside for Firth. Flicks it along, Buck lays it off for Rennicks, back out to Fujiwara. Chance to get a second cross in, cuts it back on the right foot. New England throwing everything they have forward now, looking to get that equalizing goal. If they get one now, it'll be the latest equalizer they have all season. 87th minute for Kizza was the previous latest. Now we're in the 89th. Yates touches it by Quinones, who will pick up a yellow card for that tactical foul. Goulburn commits the foul. Everybody behind the ball now for Toronto. All white jerseys over midfield now for New England. 90th minute is here. Quinones lofts it into the area. Vikla rising through again. Vikla, a big 6'5" goalkeeper. He has used every inch of that to make sure all those lofted balls in from the likes of Quinones and Spalding have ended up in his mitts. And crosses have been the thing that New England has relied upon in this second half to try and spark anything. They have 18 crosses from the run of open play here in this second half, but nothing to show for it. Three minutes of added time here in this one. New England running out of time here to keep their winning streak alive. A goal would at least turn it into an unbeaten run, but no longer a winning streak. Long run for Quinones to keep it in. He does so. Bayraktarovic has it knocked away by Yates. Gathered by Buck. Over for Kaye. Renix turning. Loses it against Franklin. Paulitz clears. It's his goal still holding up. Back in the 24th minute. Off the assist from Luca Petrasso on a corner kick. Toronto 2 minutes away from their first win this season, in which they only score one goal. New England leads the league in 1-0 victories with 6. Not too often they've been on the losing end of games like this. Just twice this year they've lost a game 1-0. About 90 seconds now to go of the 3 minutes that were awarded. Kaye has some space here. Had a chance to pick out which ball he wanted to play, but Campbell closed it quickly, and Kaye gets the hand up into the face of Campbell. I have to imagine that might be a card for Kaye there, thwarting that attack of Campbell, getting the hand up into the face. One more change here now as Kuric enters the match for Altobelli. Campbell still down. That was a foot race that Kaye was losing. Might have poked Campbell in the eye there. With Campbell down on the field and this sub taking place, we'll see if any more time is added here on top of the 3 minutes that were given. If they go 1 minute longer. Three minutes have come and gone. Will it be 3 points for Toronto? Just waiting for that whistle. McLaughlin holding up the play in the corner. After going 6 matches without a win, Toronto has picked up 3 points in back-to-back games and gotten themselves right back into the playoff race here in USL League One. They top New England 1-0. They remain perfect in matches here at BMO Training Ground, and they have 2 to go. A trip to Chattanooga is next before 2 at home to end the season. Paulitz gets his first of the season back in the 24th minute to win it 1-0. That's 4 consecutive goals scored now by Toronto, in which it was that player's first of the season. Everybody chipping in now, and they take it 1-0, a big 3 points. New England sees their 3-game winning streak snap, and we're back in a moment to wrap this one up here on ESPN+. Upcoming schedule here for New England Revolution 2 after they see their winning streak end at 3 games. Home Madison, and then they end with 3 on the road. Greenville, North Texas, Toronto. A tough road ahead for a team that has played really strong football of late. Plenty of happy players with family members here at BMO Training Ground. A clean sheet for Vikla. That's back-to-back clean sheets for Toronto. And in the last 2 games, they've only allowed 2 shots on target, both coming today after no shots on target by North Carolina last week. All smiles for this Toronto club. They had their confidence shaken after the loss against Richmond. Safe to say it's back now. Take you back to the 3rd minute as we look at the full-time highlights. Early on, New England had opportunities. They were like that. They went by the wayside time and again. 7 shots on the day. Only 2 of them found the target. 22nd minute is when Toronto started to kick it into a better gear. Coming into the 20th minute, they had no shots. Exiting the 30th minute, they ended up with 4 shots, and in that span, they got a goal as well. Petrasso, great vision here to Rothrock. That was a sign of things to come, because 2 minutes later, as part of that same wave of attacking pressure, they are in a corner. Petrasso swings it in perfectly, and Paulitz puts it away in his return from injury, his first of the season. That would hold up the rest of the way. 38th minute then, from their own corner. New England probably should have scored, to be fair here. On this look, you see the jersey tugging is all going against Kaye. Somehow kept his balance with his jersey being tugged to head that one home, but he got called for the foul, and the goal was disallowed. Campbell had a monster of a game in the midfield. Sprung goal burn here. That was maybe one of the better chances down the stretch for Toronto as they looked for an insurance goal. Put the laces through it, and Rice tapped it over the bar. Finishes 1-0. 4 shots on target for Toronto. All the possession went New England's way. It was interesting to hear both coaches talk about this game and how important possession would be. For as much possession as New England had, they didn't do much with it, and they didn't show up on the scoreboard. A 1-0 win for Toronto FC. We'll look at the updated standings now. As far as what this means, Toronto moves up 1 spot into 8th place. They're 1 point back of Tucson and North Texas. Both of those teams have a game in hand. But from Toronto in 8th all the way up to Greenville in 3rd, separated by just 3 points. It's so tight right now here in League One. And the games that are ahead will help unravel this giant tangled ball of yarn that is the standings in this league. North Carolina and Chattanooga will meet at 3 p.m., their 4th and final meeting of the season. There's been a lot of goals when these teams have met. You cannot complain about the entertainment value when these teams have locked horns the first 3 times. Chattanooga needs to get back on track as well. New England was able, Toronto was able to use North Carolina as a springboard last week. Chattanooga has lost 3 of the last 4. Maybe they can do the same. And then the big one, Omaha-Greenville for that big green belt at 7 p.m. tomorrow. Rematch from May 16th. Marius Lomas got a goal then. Hasn't scored much since. And that was a really great game on ESPN2 that day in the national spotlight. These two teams are among the top 3 right now. Omaha in first with 44. Depending on how some other results go, they can clinch a bye with a win in this game. So a lot on the line here for Omaha as they host Greenville. First ever time that Greenville is going out to Warner Park, actually. A look at that full schedule for the rest of the weekend. Those 2 games, as we mentioned. And then Sunday, a doubleheader as well. North Texas and Richmond, 2 very hot teams playing there. Unbeaten in the last 3, North Texas, and 3 straight wins for Richmond. And then a de facto elimination game between Fort Lauderdale and South Georgia. It was a very measured meeting today between Toronto and New England. All 3 of them have finished the same way with a 1-0 scoreline. The first 2 went New England's way. Today's goes Toronto's way. The home team has won every time by that 1-0 scoreline. Paulitz gets the goal today. Toronto gets the 3 points. And for the crew that makes this possible, I'm Joe Malfa saying good night from Toronto. Enjoy a loaded weekend of USL League One action, all on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.